So after 140 hours in the Platinum Trophy, I can safely say Undefined was right yet again. Elden Ring is an absolute masterpiece and by far one of the best games I've ever played. It definitely deserves all the hype, praise, and attention it's gotten, and anyone who disagrees is absolutely an idiot. I mean, I just don't understand how anyone could not like this game. I have to start questioning your intelligence at that point if you do not like Elden Ring. Like, buddy, are you sure you're all there up top? Because I find it hard to believe you're all there up top. You're all there mentally and you do not like Elden Ring. It's just impossible. All these clickbaiting clowns on YouTube saying Elden Ring sucks for views. Imagine being so desperate for views, so desperate you have to hate on good games. Yikes, that could never be me. I'm not so desperate for ad revenue I gotta pretend to hate good shit just to get paid. No, I make way more from streaming anyway. By the way, follow me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/theancientpizza. I'm a partner streamer over there and easily the best streamer of all time, no debate. But yeah, making videos relying on ad revenue does nothing for me. I could not make a video ever again and still be good. I'm just that great. But I'm serious. If you do not like Elden Ring, you are not a gamer. You're a fraud. You're a casual. You have horrible taste, and I just cannot take you seriously in the slightest. This is a borderline perfect game. Yeah, I said it, and I don't say that often. It's just that good. So many people were saying, oh, come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, like, come on. This is just a Dark Souls reskin, man. It's just Dark Souls. Well, shut your mouth. Shut your damn mouth immediately, and I'm not going to say it again. I am the king of gaming, and whatever I say goes. Don't you ever, and I do mean ever in your life, compare this game to Dark Souls. They aren't even in the same league. This game completely destroys Dark Souls. It's better than every Dark Souls game ever made. Dark Souls games are absolute garbage and don't deserve to even be mentioned in the same sentence as Elden Ring. Like, imagine playing Elden Ring, right? Just wrap your brain around this. Imagine playing Elden Ring and saying to yourself, I want to go back to Dark Souls after this. It would never happen because Dark Souls has nothing on Elden Ring. If you go back to Dark Souls after playing Elden Ring, I'm sorry, you're an idiot, bro. Elden Ring gives you everything that Dark Souls couldn't. God, you Dark Souls fanboys are losers, bro. It's crazy stuff. Elden Ring is incredible. The lore is incredible. I loved all the different NPCs I encountered in the quests that I did. Some of the quests made me really care about the characters. The world is so interesting. So many secrets, so many places to go, things to do. There is so much content here. And even after all the hours I have in the game, there's still so many things left to do. The combat is very addicting. It feels amazing. The music is excellent. I mean, literally, I would have to sit here and nitpick. Like, the only negative things I could say about the game that I didn't like, and these, like I said, are very minor things, are one, I felt like the game has a lot of cheap shit in it that makes it way too easy. For example, you know, like the summons. I wish the summons weren't in the game. The summons carry a lot of bad players, especially the Mimic. I mean, the Mimic fully upgraded and depending on your build can pretty much solo bosses, bro. The Mimic is insane. It can just solo bosses without you really even having to do anything. Another thing is the bleed effect is very broken. A lot of people are just spamming dual wield katanas with bleed. A lot of the magic spells are broken. The Ashes of War, like the Frost Stomp, are broken. You can basically use dragon powers in this game, so a lot of people are using that dragon ability that spams Scarlet Rot. I mean, there's just a lot of cheap stuff in this game that make it way too easy. I mean, you can cheese your ass off in this game. This probably, out of all of them, has to be the cheesiest game out there. Like, as far as From Software goes, you can just do so much cheap stuff. You can spam poison. I mean, it's crazy. I haven't seen a game this cheap in a while, and I feel like that's the problem. It carries so many bad players. So many bad players that can never beat other games are able to beat this game because you add stuff like summons and all the tools that it gives you. I just really wish it wasn't in there. I would have rather people struggled more. I would have loved to see people struggle. A lot of people are going to get carried in this game by the cheap stuff in the game, and they don't deserve to be carried. They don't deserve to beat the game. You know, I'm seeing multiple people beating these bosses and that bosses by using summons and stuff, and I'm just like, look at this clown. And they don't see anything wrong with that. They really don't. They don't see anything wrong with using summons. It's like, can you imagine if summons and all this cheap stuff wasn't in the game? Oh, nobody would beat it, bro. It's crazy. But I actually beat it without using that. You know, I don't have to use summons. I don't have to use cheap stuff. I can use it if I want to, but I actually have skills, something that the rest of these clowns don't have. So yeah, the summons are and all the other stuff in this game, I feel like kind of ruin it in a sense. It kind of ruins the difficulty. It's kind of like playing the game on easy mode. All these people complaining about an easy mode. I mean, the game gives you an easy mode with all the stuff in the game. So yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. Another thing I feel like that was really annoying about the the game, well, I won't say really annoying. Like I said, it's more like a nitpick. I feel like a few of the late game bosses were just insanely cheap. Like, for example, Melania. I mean, Melania, that could have been one of my favorite fights of all time, and I still think it's one of the best fights in Elden Ring despite its issues. But a lot of these bosses late game feel like they were designed around you having summons. I mean, if you spam a mimic tier against Melania, you will destroy her instantly. If you spam like dual wielding bleed katanas, you'll destroy her. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like you're beating these bosses late game with skill. It seems like you're beating them with cheap stuff. And what I find hilarious too is there's people on the other side of this that will be like, oh, summons are cheap. I'm not using summons in my playthrough, or whatever the case may be, right? Because I've seen a lot of people like that too. I'm watching Twitch streams and they'll have in the title like, okay, Elden Ring, no summons, no this, no that, no magic. And I'm like, bro, but you're still using cheap shit. You're using the Frost Stomp, which stun locks the enemy. You're using bleed katanas, which just eat the boss's health. How are you going to sit here and say, okay, no summons playthrough or whatever, but you're still using cheap stuff? It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the game, even if you don't use something in the game that's cheap, chances are the person is still using something in the game that's cheap, because there's so much cheap stuff. So a lot of these bosses feel like they can only be beat in late game by using cheap stuff. I haven't seen one person beat Melania without using bleed katanas, without using the stomp, or just something else that's just very overpowered. So I feel like a lot of the late game bosses are just very cheap, and you have to use cheap stuff for the most part to beat them, and I don't like that. I really feel like they should have been better balanced to where I have to learn the movement and I can't use cheap stuff to beat them. Would have been much better. Also, another thing with the bosses, I feel like they're really, really recycled in this game. I mean, I must have fought that goddamn tree sentinel like at least 50 or so times. I'm going here, I see a tree sentinel. I'm going there, here's a character that's basically like the tree sentinel. It's so many bosses in this game are recycled. And then they added the worst part of Bloodborne, which was the Chalice dungeons. Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne were horrible, and anybody that liked them were idiots. They added that to the game, and they're basically these caves. You go in these caves in Elden Ring, you try to find the lever to open the door, and then when you open the door, there's a boss fight. And then the boss fights in there are like the same bosses for the most part that you fought elsewhere. I must have fought so many bosses in those dungeons or whatever that I fought elsewhere, and I was just like, really? How many times am I gonna fight this boss? So a lot of recycled bosses in this game. I don't know why, if it was like to pad the game, I don't know what it was, but very, very weird to me. And then the last thing I felt like I could talk about is the horse mechanics. The horse mechanics are absolute garbage in this game. I mean, fighting on your horse, to me at least, is pretty much like suicide. Like, sometimes it does work, but oftentimes it doesn't. I mean, the horse controls are dog shit. I mean, it's just weird trying to fight on your horse. Most of the time, like, you can tell this was set up to be on my horse. I just said screw this and got off the horse and tried to do it on foot, because it was just much better than dealing with those terrible controls. And then the fall damage from the horse is weird too. Like, you'll think, okay, there's no way I die from this ledge or whatever, and then you fall off the horse and you die. It's just very weird. Like, the horse mechanics, they could have been done much better. But again, these are all like just minor things that didn't really sour the experience too much. Overall, I feel like this game is just an incredible game. It's a masterpiece. It really is. I mean, I was struggling to find stuff. The best thing I can say is bosses, or a couple of bosses are cheap, recycled bosses, and then a couple of horse mechanics that didn't work out. But other than that, I mean, everything was great about this game. From Software hit it out the park, man. They really did. This is a game that's going to separate real gamers from frauds. Trust me. This definitely has Game of the Year 2022 on lock, unless Breath of the Goat comes out. If Breath of the Goat 2 comes out, then we'll have some competition and we'll see which one was better. But other than that, Elden Ring has Game of the Year on lock. I know the Sony fanboys are thinking, oh, what about Horizon Zero Dawn, man? Horizon Forbidden West, like, that garbage would ever receive Game of the Year. That trash got absolutely destroyed. Aloy got bent over by Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring bent Aloy over, spreaded them cheeks, and said, thrust it. Started thrusting and thrusting. Aloy was like, she couldn't take it. That's what Elden Ring did to Horizon Forbidden West. As soon as Elden Ring came out, Horizon Forbidden West was DOA. Nobody was talking about it. The viewership plummeted. Nobody's talking about Horizon Forbidden West to this day. Elden Ring destroyed it. Absolutely incredible game. Anybody that doesn't like Elden Ring, you are a fraud, a casual, and everything in between. It's just that simple. Deal with it, accept it, love it, learn it.